can hide that panel. Okay, so here we are. And this is the part that I will post to a YouTube if it downloads okay. So World Sleep Day was started by the World Sleep Society, and the purpose is to just increase awareness about the benefits of getting sleep and a little bit about the science that we know now about sleep. But sleep medicine is a relatively new area of medicine. It only became an area of medicine in the United States in the 70s. So World Sleep Day has been going on for a few years, and all over the world, sleep experts are pitching in to try to increase awareness about sleep. So what I wanted to do is just start with how much sleep do we really need? It changes as we get older. So newborns need the most sleep, 14 to 17 hours. And this is because they're building a lot of body, but it's also thought because this is the period where we have the most growth in our brain. So it's important for newborns to get their sleep. School-age children need about 9 to 12 hours. And this is important because a lot of our young people are no longer getting adequate amounts of sleep. And this is for a number of reasons. Some of the most common ones, the internet and video games, but also the cell phone and old-fashioned television. So young people are awake at night, and sometimes they're playing games with other people around the world. So they're trying to link their time schedule here in the US to someone else's time schedule who's in a different time zone. And this can make our young people very sleepy when it's time to go to school. And you'll notice that teenagers still need a little bit more than 8 hours. Sometimes they need 8, but they can need up to 10 hours of sleep at night. And this can be a problem for them for the same reasons as I previously stated. But when young people get into their teen years is when they're usually trying to get some kind of outside employment, and they may be adding that to an already full day of school, homework, extracurricular activities, and then work and homework. Adults is who we're here to focus on though, and adults are needing at least 7 hours of sleep, but the range is 7 to 9 hours of sleep. During the 5-day sleep challenge, what we did was looked at how we slept. We marked the time that we went to bed and the time that we got up. And we are using that to get some idea of, are we getting adequate amounts of sleep? 5 days is not enough to really determine it, but you can get an idea if you're shortchanging yourself. So for adults and for most people, if you're getting less than 5 hours of sleep at night, you are going to suppress your immune system and you're going to lose muscle mass. It's called sleep deprivation, especially if you have daytime symptoms, usually sleepiness. And this has a whole host of negative impacts on our health. It causes memory problems. It's associated with dementia. It can stress your heart and cause inflammation, elevate your blood pressure, and make your blood sugar much higher because it elevates your stress hormones. So when people tell me they've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, one of my first thoughts is, did you get enough sleep before you had those biomarkers checked? Most people are not aware that when you deprive yourself of sleep consistently, your biomarkers will increase for diabetes because your stress hormones will increase, cortisol increases, and this pushes up your blood sugar level. So what's the benefits of getting a nap? Several benefits. It will help you relax. It can reduce fatigue, increase alertness, and improve your mood. Sleepy people tend to be grumpy people. Now, the sleep deprived person may not realize it, And one of the things that I used to notice in my practice is the person who had the sleep disorder never felt that they were irritable or difficult to be around. But the person who brought them there or who was in the room with them would always say a different story. It's the people around you who notice the change in your personality when you don't get enough sleep. It can improve your mood, and sleep deprivation can trigger feelings of depression, anxiety, and it can be a tip off of some impending mental health disorders. When you take a nap, you can improve your performance, have a quicker reaction time, and a better memory. This is very important for people who are driving. Driving sleepy or sleep deprived can make you as dangerous on the road as a person legally intoxicated with alcohol. But there are some drawbacks to napping. If you nap too long, you go into deeper stages of sleep, and you might wake up from that stage of sleep if you're waking up unnaturally, using an alarm, or someone is coming to wake you up. When you wake up from deep sleep, you have what's called inertia. This is that groggy feeling. It will go away after a few minutes, but it is an unpleasant feeling to wake up from, sleep with. If you sleep too long or you sleep too late in the day, you can disrupt your nighttime sleep. Sleep is thought to have what's called a sleep load. The longer you're awake during the day, you build up this need to go to sleep. This is called your sleep load. And when you start taking naps, you decrease the sleep load. So if you nap too long or you nap too close to bedtime, you won't have the same need for sleep, which is that sleep load. And so your sleep won't be quite as easy or restful. And then some people think that when you're napping, if you're napping for too long, you're missing the opportunity to be physically active. And this is important to us for our health, sleep, and movement. Did you know there are several types of naps? Now, napping has become an art. There are people who've written books on the benefits of napping. So let's just talk a little bit about the types of naps. You have naps classified by duration, how long you're sleeping, and the purpose of your nap. Power naps. These are those brief naps that are 10 to 20 minutes in length, and they're made, the purpose is to restore your wakefulness, and the wakefulness will last for hours. I used to tell my patients it would be wonderful if we all had the same benefits of people who were in high executive positions in corporations. Some of our major corporations build in time for power naps so that their executives can be fresh and alert when they're going into meetings or strategy sessions or doing important work for the company. But you don't have to be an important executive. You're important in your own life. If you need a nap, but you don't have a lot of time and you don't want to fill up on sugar, chocolate, or coffee, all of which can be negative for your health, a power nap may be the answer. A recovery nap is for people who didn't get enough sleep at night. This is kind of tricky because sleep isn't replaced on a one-to-one basis. For example, if you miss 4 hours of sleep, you do not need to nap for 4 hours. Your body may only need an extra 10 to 20 minutes of sleep. I don't know why, but it's just not a one-to-one. So recovery naps can be used if you didn't get a good night's sleep for whatever reason. Sometimes we just want to be awake because things are happening and we want to be a part of that social situation. But if you didn't get enough sleep, your body clock may have you wake up at the time that you usually do, regardless of you going to bed after midnight when you usually go to bed at 10 p.m. When that happens, you may find that you're a little tired. It's best to just get up as if you were getting up for your regular day and plan on taking a recovery nap. The best time for a recovery nap is when your body rhythms have that normal dip in energy. And that's going to be somewhere a little after 12 noon and before 3 p.m. Those naps should be short naps. I say less than 30 minutes. 20 minutes is best because when you sleep longer for your recovery nap, you may end up decreasing your sleep load and having difficulty sleeping at night. And if you are needing someone to wake you up, you run the risk of going into deep sleep and developing that groggy, uncomfortable feeling, which is not refreshing. A proactive nap is what people do when they know they're not going to get a good night's sleep. Have you ever taken a long drive or you planned a cross-country drive and you were going to drive at night? Then you probably wanted to get some sleep before you got on the road. This is called a proactive nap. The other people who are good at taking proactive naps are people who work night shift. People who have to be at work at 11 o'clock at night or midnight usually take a long nap, 3 or 4 hours in the evening time before they have to get up and go to work. And this can extend their alertness and ability to stay awake through the night shift. Coffee naps. I love coffee naps, but I don't usually drink coffee anymore because it elevates my blood pressure. I use it as I would any other medication. Find your sweet spot. If you drink a little coffee and it wakes you up, you might only need a fourth of a cup or maybe just less than that. Find out how much wakes you up without elevating your blood pressure or causing you to get that jittery feeling from overstimulation of your sympathetic nervous system from drinking the caffeine. When you get the amount of coffee that you need, it would be great for taking a coffee nap. Coffee naps work like this. You drink this coffee first, right at the time you're getting ready to take your nap, and then you go and take your nap. And the reason this works is because it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for the coffee or the caffeine to come on board and cause that alertness. And if you are limiting your nap to about 20 minutes, when you wake up, your coffee should be on board and it will give you like an extra boost of wakefulness. You'll have the rejuvenation from your nap and you'll have a little stimulation from the coffee. And then we have what I call the just because naps. These are people who just enjoy taking a nap. A lot of times people don't really have anything they're trying to stay awake for. They just like napping. This is something that is okay to do, but if you find that you're taking long naps for like 90 minutes frequently, it could be a sign, a warning sign that you're developing, if you don't already have it, a chronic disease. This would be something that I personally would want my patients to come in and get evaluated for because I like to try to prevent illness, not just detect it and treat it, but is there something we can look at? The body sends signals before we actually develop disease, but sometimes we just don't know that the body is trying to tell us that something is going wrong. So a just because nap is good if you aren't having problems with chronic disease developing. And the best way to tell that, if you don't know if you have a problem brewing, is to have an examination looking for biomarkers of diseases that usually occur at certain ages. So here's some tips for having good naps. Time your naps. You want to make sure that you're not taking naps very late in the day. If you take naps after 3 p.m. and your bedtime is 10 p.m., your nap could decrease your sleep load and interfere with your ability to sleep at night. Keep it short. I always recommend people try to sleep just 15 to 20 minutes. And sometimes that's half of your lunch hour if you get a lunch hour, so that you'll have time to nap and have a little lunch and get back to work fully alert and refreshed and ready to slay that day. If you find that you want to take a short nap during the day, I like using a black eye mask. And you can buy these even at the dollar store. Now, they won't be as fancy as the ones that you can buy at a sleep shop, but they'll get the job done. And the one good thing is they only cost $1. So you can always throw that mask away, and you should after a certain period of time, because even washing the mask may leave some germs behind, and you're putting this right over your eyes. You don't want to run the risk of getting an eye infection because you're using an old eye mask. Make sure you're sleeping in the right environment. Now, this is a tricky question because some people don't have a place to sleep in their office, and they don't have an office that they have by themselves where they could just sleep at their desk. Sometimes patients will go out and sleep in their car if they feel it's safe. And this is where an eye shield can really help, and sometimes earplugs. And then take steps to wake up if you are feeling kind of groggy. And this could be drinking a little bit of coffee if that's your beverage of choice. Tea will work. Looking at the sunlight, not directly, but just a few minutes of exposure to natural light. If you're inside, the windows are probably coated with some kind of protection for UV rays. So they're blocking the UV rays. If you go outside and you get the natural sunlight, this will wake you up because light is the kryptonite of sleep hormones, and it will help wake you up. Movement will wake you up. In our office, we keep trampolines around, little small personal trampolines. If you have space and the ability to do that, I want you to know that jumping on a rebounder, which is those small trampolines, works as well or better than drinking coffee. They've done that research looking at PET scans and the brain activity after drinking a caffeine beverage and after rebounding. And the rebounding actually works better. You don't get the jitteries, side effects from having caffeine on board. It won't elevate your blood pressure. Caffeine also washes the calcium out of your bones. So there are some benefits to drinking coffee if you're drinking it black, but some people have more of a concern about those negative impacts of coffee than the benefits. I want to thank you for spending some time with me. I want to thank God for the opportunity to participate in World Sleep Day and to have you join me. I also want to thank my family, especially my husband, for his support. And I always thank God for giving me the opportunity to just be here. Now we're finished with this, and I'm going to ask you, what questions do you have